Hi, I'm Rebecca from engVid, and today we're doing a special lesson on celebrating the New Year. So let's get rid of these colorful decorations and get started. Okay, so first of all, I know there are all kinds of New Years, right? There are religious New Years, there are national New Years, but in today's lesson, we're going to focus on the New Year that starts on January 1st, which is considered the calendar New Year, or the Western New Year, or the Gregorian calendar New Year. Okay? So let's first understand the terms, all right? So January 1st is considered New Year's Day. December 31st, the day before that, and the year before that, is considered New Year's Eve. Now, when we say Eve, it means the day before, the evening before, the day before. For example, if Christmas is on December 25th, Christmas Eve is December 24th. So when we have the word Eve, it's always the day before. Okay? All right. So what I'm going to explain today is how we celebrate the New Year in many English-speaking countries, some of the customs and traditions that we follow, and also some of the things that we say. How do we wish people? How do you greet people, right? And also some of the special things that you do. All right. So first, let's talk about some of the things that people normally do on December 31st, which is the day when we actually start celebrating, and then we go into the new year. Okay? So what do? We get all dressed up. It's usually a very fun time. It's a very fun time. It's a very special time. And it's also a very meaningful time because the new year represents a fresh start, a new page, a new chapter in your life. Okay? A chance to do new things, to have new plans, and so on. So it's considered a very special time. People are usually very excited because we all like to have another chance at getting things right in our life or improving ourselves or improving our life. And that's what New Year's represents to lots of people. So this is what they do. Usually, this is what we do. We dress up in our fancy clothes. Many people. It's very, very popular to go to parties. Now, these parties can be of all kinds. You could have a small party at home with just your family and friends. You could have a medium-sized party where you go to a restaurant or a club and they are having a special kind of celebration for the New Year. And maybe they have a lot of TVs on where they're watching New Year's celebrations in different parts of the world. Or you could go to a large party, which is outdoors. Maybe it's in a city hall. Lots of people from different parts of the city come there, they congregate, and they have concerts, music, and all kinds of fun things happening. Or the most famous party, one of the most famous parties, and probably one of the largest parties in the whole world that takes place on New Year, happens in New York City, in Times Square. You might have watched it on television. There, that party, if we can call it that, has 1 million visitors and lots of other special traditions. There's a very famous thing that happens at midnight. There's a huge crystal ball. It weighs about 5,000 kilos and it's huge and it's made of crystal. And in the last 10 seconds of New Year's Eve and going into New Year's Day, the crystal ball begins to drop. And what we have is a countdown to the new year. So everybody goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then Happy New Year and all the craziness starts. Okay? So that's the biggest party that's probably happening anywhere in the world, which is in Times Square in New York. So parties, very popular. It doesn't mean that if you don't have a party, it's not the new year. You can have a party by yourself and say, you know what, I'm happy being by myself. But I'm just telling you what lots of people like to do. So usually we get together with our family and friends. As I said, when we go out, we attend concerts, we listen to music. People are dancing and people are having fun. They're joking, they're laughing, they're being silly. It's a day when people are not serious. They're really not serious. They're just joyful and really happy because they have the new year and another chance to do things correctly and to do things better than in the past year. Okay, so what are some of the other things that we do? We also eat special food, special dinners. If families get together, they cook a special dinner. Or when we go out to restaurants, usually they have lots of expensive, fancy food available for you. Okay, and then there are a few traditions that happen at midnight. One of those is to drink champagne and drink a toast to the new year around midnight. There's also a tradition to kiss someone, not just anyone, usually someone that you love, at midnight when the clock actually strikes 12, because there used to be a kind of a saying that if you're kissing somebody at the new year at midnight, then you're not going to have a lonely year ahead. I don't know if it's true, but a lot of people do that because they like kissing anyway. So you'll see often if you're watching the New Year celebrations that the camera will focus on a couple somewhere in the audience or in the crowd kissing at the New Year. Also at that time, a lot of fireworks start going off, so there's fireworks everywhere. In fact, this entire evening, New Year's Eve, for example, we're in Toronto, so we get to watch celebrations happening from a few hours before, right? From New Zealand, Australia, and then England, and so on, as the New Year begins, right? And then we watch last probably Times Square and New York, which is where we're located in that time zone. And everywhere we see amazing, fabulous fireworks displays. And of course, everyone's out and spending money and having a lot of fun. Okay? And also, one of the things that's almost always done in a lot of English-speaking countries is to sing a special song. And that is a Scottish folk song, actually, that's called Auld Lang Syne, which means times gone by. Or if I say for Auld Lang Syne, it means for old time's sake. And it's a special song that we sing, which is kind of like a way to honor friendship, to honor our old friends, and to honor time as a result. Because when we have an old friend, we are actually showing that we respect that we had these wonderful friends in our lives and over a long period of time. So that's another very special tradition. And we'll see if we can put that on our Facebook so you can hear that song in case you are not familiar with that tune. So here are some of the other things that you will see on TV. You'll see people wearing hats and blowing on horns and making noise with all kinds of silly things that make noise. They're called noise makers. And you'll see a lot of decorations, streamers, which are like colored crepe paper that you put up even at birthday parties and things like that. And also, very often at midnight, what happens is that a lot of little colored pieces of paper called confetti are thrown down or thrown up into the air, and they land on everybody. So everybody's just feeling really silly and very happy. Okay, now there are a couple of other traditions which are very important, which I'm going to tell you next, which is how to wish people for the new year, whether you're telling them or whether you're writing something to them. And the other thing I'm going to tell you about is something called resolutions. So hang in there. Okay, so here are some ways that you can wish people for the new year. And these people could be your family, it could be your friends, could be colleagues, could be your friends on Facebook, all kinds of things, okay? All right, so the most obvious and the easiest one to say is Happy New Year. So you can say that. We say that a lot. Happy New Year. We write it also, okay? Now, of course, depending on who you're talking to, you're going to change it a little bit, or you can change it if you wish. Now, another point is that if you are sending a New Year greeting, it could be a physical card, it could be a digital card, it could be a special email, it could be something from your business, something you send to a customer or a client or a colleague or a friend or your grandmother or whoever, okay? So even if you send them a card, even if it's a card that you buy in the store, you still want to maybe add a personal touch by writing something yourself, okay? And not just signing your name and sending it off, but adding a little bit of a personal message to someone. And so some of these things, I'm giving you some general kind of greetings that you can include, but you might also want to write something more personal. For example, if you know that somebody's been unwell, so you might want to wish them health and healing. If you know that somebody's been looking for a job, you might want to wish them success in that area. Or if you know that somebody's about to graduate from university or just starting university, you might wish them specifically for that purpose, okay? But let's look at some of the other general greetings that you can use. So you could say, like, for example, Happy New Year in 2017. Now, it just so happens when we're recording this, it's 2016, so the next year is 2017, but of course, change that according to whatever the new year is for you when you watch this. Okay, now, you could say other things, Happy New Year and all the best, or again, if it's a little bit more personal, you could say, wishing you and your family a very happy, healthy new year, or wishing you a happy new year filled with lots of blessings. Now, that's a little bit religious, a little bit more personal. So you might not use that in a business context, but you might want to use it if that reflects who you are, who your family is, or who your friends are. Then you could say something like that. Or I like this one also because it's kind of good for everyone. Wishing you a happy, healthy, and successful new year, okay? Because success means all kinds of things to different people. So you could definitely use these greetings when you wish people. Now, another very special thing that we do for around this time of New Year's is something called New Year's resolutions. So what's a resolution? A resolution is like a decision or a promise to yourself to improve in some ways. So you could decide that you will start doing something or that you will stop doing something. All right? And this could apply to any aspect of your life. For example, you could decide that you will start eating healthy food or you will start exercising and that you will stop smoking, for example. So you could say, I will do this or I won't do that. Okay? Now, resolutions don't have to be only about your personal things. They are personal because they're about you, but really they are a chance to look at your entire life. And people often use this time to sort of think, to reflect, because each of us has a goal and a dream and a vision for ourselves and who we want to be or who we think we can be. And the new year gives us a chance to make that real. So we usually examine different aspects of our lives, maybe our personal life, as I said, about eating more healthy. Maybe you want to learn a new language, maybe something professional. Maybe you want to look for another job, or you want to get a promotion and you really want to work hard for that. Or something financial. Perhaps you want to pay off your debts, or you want to become rich. Okay. Something about relationships. Maybe your resolution is that you're going to spend more time with your family, or something else. You're going to do something very kind for people that you know. Or it could be something academic as well. Like perhaps you're going to ace that class or do very well in that exam or be one of the best students or get a scholarship and really work hard at it, because this is a time to give yourself a little bit of a push and that motivation to achieve more and to be more. And there is a little something else, and I'll be back with that. Okay, so today we have a surprise for you. I'd like to invite someone here. Come. So this is Enerson.
Hi.
He's visiting us from Brazil, and he's one of our viewers, and he came to Toronto, and he stopped by to say hi to us.
Hi.
How are you? It's really nice to meet you.
Thank you. I'm glad to finally meet you person.
Oh, that's such a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to meet our viewers as well.
Okay.
So since we've been talking about the New Year's, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I have. I want to move to Toronto
Okay.
I want to get in shape and I want to improve my English with engVid.com.
Oh, that's really, really nice. Thank you so much. I wish
Thank you.
you and your family a very happy new year and all the best. And let's say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Happy New
everybody.
Year. Bye. So now I have a question for you. What are some of your New Year's resolutions? I'd love to read about them. So please share them with us in the comments. And of course, if you'd like to do a little bit of a review of some of the vocabulary and expressions that we've covered in this lesson, go to our website at www.engvid.com, and there you can do a quiz on this lesson. And perhaps if you haven't already, for the new year, you would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would give you a steady supply of lots of English lessons. Of course, on our website, engVid, we have like more than 1,000 lessons which can help you. So I hope you're making that part of your New Year's routine. And last of all, I'd like to wish you from all of us at engVid a very happy, healthy, and successful new year. Have a great time and make this your best year ever. All the best with your English. Bye for now.